And welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to the World Team League, to WTL 2024 Summer Codes Round 4, Day number 3. Welcome back to our second matchup of the night. We just wrapped up with Offside Esports versus CranKy Gaming, and now we have returned with SC2 Na'Vi versus Platinum R8. Oh boy, and we have our first matchup ready for us. Up first, we have ShaDoWn versus Spirit. We also have followed by, let me just quickly double check, it's going to be ShaDoWn versus Spirit, followed by Goblin versus Gerald, and we end it all with Nicoract versus MaxPax. An ace match is definitely on the horizon. It's definitely possible. It is definitely possible here, but I'm always excited to see how the Platinum boys come in prepared for the heavy hitters of SC2 Na'Vi. Again, Spirit was on SC2 for a long time, so it's great to see that they have joined forces. Spirit now no longer on SC2, representing Na'Vi. And they have partnered together with SC2 Gaming to compete in WTL. They've got a pretty hefty lineup with Spirit, Gerald, and MaxPax. They can go far. They have a lot of potential. If you remember, SC2 Gaming, their run was kind of cut off like at the knees last season, where Spirit, he did leave SC2 mid-season because he left. That did kind of leave a big hole in the team of SC2 in last season WTL, and as a result, they did struggle a little bit more, but now he's back, and here we go, diving in to Ghost River. Top left, we have ShaDoWn for Platinum R8. Top right, we have Spirit for SC2 Na'Vi. Let's go. Let us go. Whew. As our PVT is upon us, I remember with our predictions, I had a really hard time picking and choosing between some of these matches. Like, ShaDoWn has been impressing us as of late. He has been impressive. But can he bring down a player of the caliber of Spirit? As Spirit is one of the best Terrans in all of Europe. He is one of the best. I'm sure just getting ready to travel for DreamHack Dallas next weekend. That is on the horizon. Not too sure if ShaDoWn is going. I haven't seen the players announced for the open bracket yet. But I do know that there are some players from Europe and players from Korea that are going to be traveling to try to work their way through that. Again, wish them all the best. For now, it is going to be an economic opener from our Terran player. It's going to be a Rax Expand, single gas opener from Spirit, which is bold on Ghost River. Is going to be bold here. Across the map, ShaDoWn opening up with his own Gate Expand, or Gate Cyber Expand. A bit of a safer opener out of ShaDoWn. So Nexus is on the way. So yeah, we're going to be easing our way into Ghost River. I expected something a little bit more safer, but Spirit, he's known for his greed. There's that CC on the high ground, again, just to be safe. So he won't be disrupted on the low ground. Reaper's moving out, followed by our factory. And we'll see what kind of take-off choice ShaDoWn is going to be working with. Again, we haven't seen as much of ShaDoWn this season. The reason why is because Platinum R8, their roster is now quite different to last season, to last year. It felt like the go-to lineup for Platinum Heroes was ShaDoWn, DNS, and Firefly. It was the three of them, week after week, the Protoss team for Platinum R8. But now with their partnership, I spoke about Spirit's partnership, but R8 Esports has Kelazur, and Kelazur has been here every single week, but not this week. So if everything's okay, as the Reaper comes in, we get a surround. The Reaper is shut down, but not before scouting the tech. Spirit does confirm the Twilight Council. But yeah, Diego, Kelazur, he has been here week after week. He's been kind of one of the key components of Platinum R8, but this week he's nowhere to be found. I think I would go as far as to say that Kelazur is the ace. Would I say that he's the ace player of Platinum Heroes? I think I do rate him a little bit higher than the others. I think I would. But maybe something came up. As Kelazur is not here today. So we have ShaDoWn rising up to take his place. For now, threatening a Shade. Cyclone does force us back. Blink is on the horizon. We have our second gateway as well. So for now, it's just 2-gate Blink for ShaDoWn. We could double down and go for a third or even fourth gateway, so we'll keep an eye on the gateway count. Speaking of, there's a third gate in production. Okay, so ShaDoWn is going to be a little bit more aggressive. 3-gate Blink will give you map control. Otherwise, very nice control from ShaDoWn. Does avoid those lock-ons. Doesn't quite get the Cyclone. Doesn't lose anything either. Does force Spirit back. Robo's about to finish up. There's that third base for ShaDoWn. Again, it's going to be 3-gate Blink into a third. And we should be able to reinforce. Meanwhile, Spirit's going to be embracing like many other Terrans. Some Cloaked Banshees. The drop coming in from behind. It looks like Spirit, he will catch out this army. One Adept goes down and we're going for the Stalker. Adept commits to the Shade. Potentially gets a Mule. Stalker goes down. Nice pick up there by Spirit. Cleans up the Stalkers, cleans up the Adepts, and now we're pushing. And Spirit is going into Tank Banshee. Again, everyone's been playing Tank Banshee as of late. A lot of the Koreans, a lot of the Europeans. And we have seen some just harass with the Banshees and hit the third base with their tanks. We've seen others kind of consolidate their army and push together. We'll see how Spirit does move out. See how he pushes. So here we go. We have 2 tanks here for Spirit. Now, the move out is spotted by the Observer. ShaDoWn does have eyes on the main army. And the Banshee is going to harass the Natural. So, a double-pronged attack here from Spirit. He is moving out. Tanks do siege. A couple of volleys on the Stalkers. Banshee has arrived. Probes are going down, and we're not quite ready for this. Yeah, Stalkers in detection, out of position. 3 probes forward. We deny any kind of mining. At the same time, we catch the Stalkers. And Spirit is pulling ShaDoWn apart as we get even more damage done in the main. Now, ShaDoWn does have the Immortal on the high ground, does have a shield battery. Tank volley's going off. Yeah, pushing up this ramp, it's brutal. The choke point is so narrow. Spirit doesn't gain any ground, but Spirit does get 9 probe kills. Banshee does fall. Second Banshee has arrived here on the front lines, going for the shield battery. Here we go, the tanks do siege. Shield battery goes down. The Immortal is going to be targeted, but not before it takes down the tank. And it looks like ShaDoWn with this concave is going to be able to focus down every single tank. Phew, ShaDoWn holds. And you saw Spirit there on cams. Bit of a shake of his head. Not content about that, and now we're going for a massive counterattack. ShaDoWn is pushing, and do we have any tanks at home? Uh-oh, okay, we have 1. We have 1 tank on the low ground, and we can actually blink on top of this. We're going for the dive! We blink on the tank. Tank falls! Boys are being pulled, but 1 second too late. Marines are struggling to hold on, and ShaDoWn, he is punishing Spirit. Another tank on the high ground does arrive just in time. And with the help of this tank, it looks like we should be able to hold on. As I say that, though, we're going for the tank. Oh, the juggling. The Immortal arrives. ShaDoWn, he knows he's so close to breaking Spirit. So close. We get the repairs off the tank. Does hold into the Natural. But what's important here is that ShaDoWn, he has a better economy. He has a third base fully saturated. And Spirit, his tank push was designed to deny the third. It was designed to get more done. So for it to fall in his face, Spirit, he's behind. But he's surviving. He's holding on to his 2 bases. Is holding on. ShaDoWn taking a 4th. Spirit setting up for a drop. Again, Spirit, he needs to get some damage in across the map, or at least force ShaDoWn back so he can expand. Or even move out. As Spirit is building up his upgrades, working towards the Ghost Academy. 3rd CC is being landed on location. From the side of Spirit, drop comes in. We have the overcharge. With this overcharge, the probes, they can defend on their own. Yeah, we're good. At least at the Natural. What about the main? What about the main bases? Probes are being targeted. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 probes go down and counting. We got 9 probe kills in the main. Very nicely done. That does even up the worker counts. But the third base is denied. Spirit forced to pull back that third once again. Stuck on 2 bases. Is stuck on that 2-base setup, but that won't stop him from dropping. So we move out with another double drop. ShaDoWn pulling back, has eyes on this, does recall in time, and Spirit does spot the recall. He commits anyway! Uh-oh! Spirit bleeding out a full medevac. At the same time, Prism into the main base, we get the warping of Zealots, SCVs are going down, and we do break the third. Yeah, Spirit is being pulled apart. Tank doesn't go down. A little bit shocked by that, but there we go. Now it should be focused. Yeah, the tank does fall. And we're even focusing on the tank on the high ground as well. Yeah, Spirit just falling apart at the seams. 19, 20 SCVs going down. We reset the tank count. And without tanks, Spirit, he has no pushing power. He has no pushing power. The drop across the map denies mining time, but not much else. And Spirit is contained. Spirit is going to be contained back at home. And as long as ShaDoWn doesn't lose too much of the drop, he should be fine. Like, he's reestablishing his army. Storm is on the way. 4th base is up and running. ShaDoWn has got double the base count of Spirit. High Templar moving out. I believe Spirit has 0 tanks left. We drop into the main. Unfortunate supply block for ShaDoWn. If you're curious why we didn't warp in, it's because we're supply blocked. There we go. 3 pylons on the way. And that's going to be a kill. That's a kill in the orbital. Kill in the 3rd TC. Not like this. Spirit's struggling to hold on. And there we go. The supply block has been broken. Massive warping into the main base. Going for the Ghost Academy. Going for the SCVs. ¿Por qué no los dos? As workers are going down, there we go. We pull back to the production, to the add-ons. My shot goes off. The storm has arrived. And there it is. GG gets called. It's just too much. And ShaDoWn, with a bit of an upset here, takes game 1 versus Spirit. GG. GG, well played again. Spirit is a top 3 Terran in Europe and court. 7% in favor of 2-0, 12 for the 1-1. And in the bottom left, we do have ShaDoWn for Platinum R8. In the top right, we have Spirit for Psystorm Na'Vi. You know what? I actually want to double check. I want to double check our predictions. Did I commit to the 1-1 score? For those that don't know, we are keeping track in our Discord server. We're all predicting. We have a channel for WTL predictions, and we're keeping track and we're ranking each other. It's kind of like fantasy, like football, I guess, where we're all ranked against each other based on our predictions. Oh no, I went for the 2-0. I was a part of the crowd. I remember having a hard time picking. I was so close for the 1-1. No, I went 2-0. Did Yaku go 1-1? No, he didn't either. Who was it? Who went 1-1? It was Papa Panda! Oh my god, Este Papa Panda. He's crazy. Meanwhile, we're selling in and ShaDoWn proxy in the natural. Calm down. I mean, he takes the lead in the series, and we are looking to pop off here. We have a gateway right in the natural base of Spirit. Meanwhile, Spirit is going for an economic opener. Once again, it's going to be a Rax Expand. Oh, yep, Rax Expand. Single gas from Spirit, which means he's going to have that much less to work with. And we'll see what ShaDoWn can get done. The goal here will be to delay the expansion. It's going to be to delay the CC. The probe being as annoying as possible. Zealot is on the way. There's that command center on the low ground. And ShaDoWn, he is primed and ready to delay this CC, to get on top of that SCV, and to wreak havoc in the bases of Spirit. Now, as a reminder, this is not an all-in. This is just designed to get us ahead economically. As we have our first Zealot, second Zealot on the way. It's being chronoed as we speak. Back at home, ShaDoWn is expanding. ShaDoWn going to 2-0. No one predicted for the 2-0, but could pull it off. He could pull it off. It's possible. As Zealots are revealed, we head for the natural. Yeah, we're going for that SCV. We forced to cancel. Oh my god. Again, because it was a delayed factory, like there's just not enough here to defend. That's a big win for ShaDoWn. That's all he needed. That's all he wanted. To cancel the CC. From here, ShaDoWn, he's chilling. He's perfectly fine, safe and sound back at home. He's probing. Gonna be taking up. Stalker has arrived. Bunker not quite done. Uh-oh. The Zealot gets knocked over! No! The Zealot got knocked over the wall by the KDA charge. Spirit. I mean, it's not going to get much done, but you'd almost never see that. Ay, ay, ay. The Traitor Reaper. He's crazy. Oh my god. It's from here. We have our Twilight Council on the way. Working towards Blink. Isolating the Zealot so it's easier to pick off. True. Calculated move, Bobby. Calculated move. True. It was intentional. Not wrong. As Spirit will force his way out. With that Cyclone. Chasing down the Stalker. Stalker will fall. We get a couple of extra hits on the Cyclone, but should live. It should be repaired. And my apologies. I assumed that it was going to be Blink. It's charge. You know what that means? We're going for a push. That means that ShaDoWn, he wants to double down. He knows that he has a lead, and he wants to go for the kill. We have a Gateway Explosion. It's going to be 4-gate charge from the side of ShaDoWn. Prisms on the way. That should be for the Warp Prism to reinforce across the map. A very aggressive follow-up here, and ShaDoWn, he may just opt not to take his gases at the natural. Just go gasless. Double down on Mass Zealots. This gateway is going to be deep out across the map. But there's the 4th gate on the way. Oh, going Immortal first even. Okay, and we have more gates. We're doubling down. It's going to be a 2-base, 6-gate all-in. We're going to have Immortals. I imagine the port with the War Prism thereafter. And this is going to be a tough hold. It's going to be a tough hold for Spirit. And ShaDoWn is going all in. Now, Spirit needs to scout. When it comes to this from the side of the Terran, he needs to figure out what's going on to have a chance to defend. We do have the Reaper. The Reaper is being zoned away. The movement. We got some extra hits in. Spirit going for the main, but there's a Stalker waiting. When the Reaper goes down, we see nothing in the main base. It may be worth burning a scan. It may be worth it. Outside of that, Spirit, he's at home, getting into his own 1-1-1 setup. Sorry, 2-1-1 setup. We have Stim, Combat Shields +1 on the way. We do have a decent defensive setup, defensive line here with the tank, with the turret, with the bunker. Breaking the natural is not going to be easy. But here we go. ShaDoWn is pushing. Sending everything across the map. We have the Immortals. We have the Zealots. ShaDoWn did not take any gases at the natural, but he will have some excess minerals, so it looks like he's throwing down the 3rd to sustain himself. He has a choice. He can either throw down the 3rd base or warp in some Zealots. What do we go for? We're warping in Zealots. Of course we are. We bust into the main base, forcing a reaction from the main army. And now we're going for the natural. Yeah, the tank is being targeted down. The tank will fall. Boys are being pulled. The natural's exposed. There's nothing here. There's nothing at the natural. The tank does fall. Clutch Micro, we save the Immortal. SCVs are going down. Now, thankfully, Spirit did evacuate his natural base, but SCVs are still falling. We get the lock onto the Prism. The Prism does escape. We get 13 SCV kills. We force the recall. Again, this could have been worse. This could have been so much worse. This could have been the end of Spirit. But he holds. Whew. He does hold on. He's down to 30 SCVs. But we're living. We're surviving. We're okay. Prism distance the main. We're going for the Cyclone. It does fall. That was a risky maneuver there from ShaDoWn. But he does get the Cyclone, escapes with the Prism. Behind this, we have our third base getting up and running. Now we take our gases. Now we're going for a Temple Archives, so it's going to be for Charged Archon into Storm. And now it's on Spirit to counterattack. And that's quite a counterattack. I mean, we have Sim Command Shields on +1. We have a triple drop full of bio. Spirit, he can bounce back here. Especially if ShaDoWn is out on the map. Like, he doesn't have much at his natural. Does he have a recall? I mean, he recalled the Zelts earlier. Yeah, the drop is revealed. Storm is on the way. Could we deny Storm? We're going for it! Storm is going to be denied! It's so close to finishing, and it will not complete. Big pick off there from Spirit. Very nicely done. The comeback. It's happening. We're not fully there yet, but we're getting there. 6 probes go down. Drop towards the third base. ShaDoWn out of position. And Spirit is popping off. Catching more workers. 8 probes fall. Storm is denied. As long as we don't lose these medevacs, we're okay. And we do manage to get away. Preserve the medevacs. Drop coming back in. And again, remember, ShaDoWn, he doesn't have Blink. There's no Blink, there's no Phoenixes. He's having such a hard time keeping up as we drop back in. More probes going down. Yo, Spirit, he's upset. He's angry. He's going Super Saiyan. Popping off in the main base. We're not done, by the way. 17 probes full. This is getting out of hand. This is becoming too much. This is becoming far too much here. 18 workers full. And just like that, Spirit takes a worker lead. Drop across the map is denied. Managed to get 2 SCVs. Storm is being rebuilt. Spirit hunting down that Prism. We have 3 Marines. Is it going to be enough? He got... Oh my god. He almost gets it. Oh, he got... No! He gets it! He gets the Prism. That should not have happened. 3 Marines. They get the Immortal as well. I mean, the Marauder helped. Spirit, calm down. Oh my god. And we're back in. We're good to go. ShaDoWn did have an amazing start, but Spirit is back in the driver's seat. He's going for a quadruple drop here towards the southern half of the map, towards the third or the main. Keeping the pressure up. You can see ShaDoWn shaking his head on cams. He knows like the position he was in. He knows that he was ahead. He also knows that it's slipping away. He's aware here that Spirit has been getting too much done. Not like this. And here comes that Doom Drop. We can see ShaDoWn being distracted, dragged over towards the natural. The main is exposed. We force a recall. And the Widowmines are burrowed. Recall comes in. We do have Storm. Storm does help. We blanket the army. We shut down some of the medevacs. We still bleed out 7 probes as we drop towards the third base. This time we have the overcharge. Okay, ShaDoWn holding on. I was expecting more damage, but ShaDoWn does keep up and does force back the army. Whew. Okay, here we go. As back at home, Spirit, he's fully saturated on 3 bases. He does have the economic lead, and the Terran up in economy against the Protoss is a terrifying thing. Ghost production has commenced. 4 CC on the way. Armory for 2-2. Now, ShaDoWn, with this move out, he does have Storm. If we can land the perfect Storms, and so far, not bad. Massive Storm in the army. And another big Storm! We can still pull this off! We have 1 Storm left! 1 remaining, and there it is! We break through the main army. We're busting into the mineral line as well. Oh, another final Storm on the SCVs. And ShaDoWn, he's still in this. Oh, did see some big mine shots going off. We're down to a handful of Stalkers, down to 1 Archon. 0 Storms left. But we get 18 SCV kills. Archon did fall. It looks like Spirit, he's barely holding. Forces back the army. Reinforcements have arrived. ShaDoWn, he's not satisfied. He wants to keep going. I mean, he needs to. And we have to evacuate the third base. Stalkers have arrived. ShaDoWn not going down without a fight. Not going to just throw away his lead. Nah, Bafi, let's go. Again, he knows he was so close. Still close. We get out of Stalker. Widowmines are being cleaned up. EMP on the Stalkers. Oh, we do have to respect that. We do have to respect the Marauders. Pulling back. Prism has arrived. We can reinforce. We can warp in. I believe the High Templar, they need a little bit more time for some storms. So ShaDoWn should be lying in wait here for that energy. Yeah, the High Templar, they do get into the Prism. They are picked up. Spirit trying to reestablish that third base. There are 2 Widowmines here, lying in wait. We got some decent connections on the Zealots. Good kiting as well. Here comes the Storms! Oh, they graze the army. But not the Storms we're looking for. A much better Storm towards the end. We stand in the Storms. We go for the warp in. We deny the warp in. Spirit barely sniping the Prism. And once again, he holds on. Oh my god, if that warp in had finished, ShaDoWn, he would have broken this. As Spirit has barely anything left. And ShaDoWn, he backs off. He's expanding. He's backing off. He's expanding. We have the Bay on the way. Blink is finishing up. Spirit survives. And we're still not out of the woods yet. We're still such a tense position here for both players. Like, ShaDoWn knows he's so close to breaking Spirit. But Spirit, he won't be broken. Working towards +2. Building up his ghost count. Third base getting saturated. No force CC yet. So we do see the Prism across the map. We can ignore the Storm, it's fine. Prism does get across the map. Getting ready for some Zealot harass. But again, Spirit, he's just fortifying himself with turrets, with the sensor tower. Does miss the War Prism. So we can slip into the main. Oh, I see. We did lift up the main base. So not that much to get. Not that many SCVs to kill. Zealots are dropped in. Spirit pulls back. As the main was lifted to take us a 4th. You can see it on the mini-map. So, Spirit, he's able to maintain himself. Again, Spirit, he may be down in workers, but he has mules. So, honestly, Spirit has a slightly better economy, especially with the 4th base getting up. That's why it's so important here for the Prism to get some damage done. The warp in will complete. Prism goes down. We get Zealous in the main. And now we have Colossus. Now it's not just about the Storms. We have Colossus. Jumping force back into the main. ShaDoWn trying to push through. Up a ramp into EMPs. Those are some brutal EMPs. ShaDoWn not able to engage. 4th base now getting saturated. And with that, Spirit does maintain the better economy. Now he has a larger army. And he's looking to outscale the Protoss. Oh, we do take a Storm to the face. And that's what ShaDoWn is relying on those Storms. Zoning away the army. Speaking of, ShaDoWn a bit out of position. We do walk into more Storms. We force out a zoning Storm, but the army, it's so low, it's so bad, it's so bruised, deep in the red. We force the pickup. Meanwhile, we had a mine drop. 10 probes went down. Don't mind waddling into the 4th. That's not going to go off. The army has arrived. Colossus count slowly getting higher and higher. Likewise, Spirit building up his Vikings. The 4th base so far untouched. I'm not actually sure if ShaDoWn has spotted the 4th. I don't think he's aware. And again, it takes so much to actually apply pressure there. It's not even a planetary. It is vulnerable to War Prism Harass, Zealots, a push. As we do see Spirit trying to come in from behind, going for the EMPs. The High Templar! Yeah, massive EMPs. High Templar, they get blanketed. There are no storms left. We collapse on the army. The surround is too real, and ShaDoWn bleeds out everything. And Spirit is snowballing out of control. This game was so close, so back and forth. But ShaDoWn is caught out. And now there's barely anything to stop Spirits. We have maybe one High Templar left. We have the one Storm. But it's still not enough. The overcharge is popped, barely keeping the Colossus alive. Boys are being pulled. And we just dive on the main army. GG gets called. Spirit fights back. And he ties things up 1-1. GG. Oh my god. That was a wild game. That was a wild game. GG, well played. ShaDoWn, he had such a great start. He had such a great start to this game as well. He was in the driver's seat. Spirit, his economy was crippled, his army was crippled, but the drop play was crazy. You know, the drop play of Spirit, the multitasking, the multi-pronged harassment there, pulled ShaDoWn apart, and it carried Spirit there into evening up the game. Despite that, ShaDoWn still went for a very committed push and was able to accomplish a lot there. It was still very close, like the game was still very back and forth, but eventually Spirit got his fourth. Once Spirit got his fourth base up and running, his economy just snowballed out of control. Like, he was finally able to maintain himself, build himself up, make use of his production, his ghosts, his Vikings. He was able to have a much easier time. Of course, the surround and the engagements did play their part as well. But GG. GG, well played. What a first series. What a first best of 2. We are tied up 1-1, and we're getting ready for Goblin versus Gerald in a PvP. We are getting ready. Game 1 is going to be on Amphion. Oh boy. Now, Gerald did just compete in the Sparkling Tuna Cup. We casted him earlier today, a couple of hours ago, in STC. Was in the semifinals, had a deep run, but wasn't able to go further there. But really, that was just a warm-up. You know, Gerald's played in STC, Euthermal played in STC as well. Is that why Euthermal took a game earlier? Potentially. But I don't know, just saying. But now we're settling in and spawning in the top right-hand corner. Sorry, top left-hand corner of Amphion, we have Goblin for Platinum R8. And in the bottom left, we have Gerald for Psystorm Na'vi. Oh, and that is a new Psystorm jersey. Interesting. I'm so used to seeing the Psystorm jersey as like darker colors, right? Because their color scheme is more like black and dark blue. But we have like a light version of the Psystorm jersey. Okay. We haven't seen it. I mean, I haven't seen from like the chest down, but it's cool that they have updated their jerseys for the new year. Let us go as we are settling in. Again, Gerald is going to be coming into this as the favored player, but what I will say is that Goblin has been impressing us. Goblin has been very impressive this season in WTL, despite being less active, despite stepping away from the game, especially last year. Like, Goblin wasn't anywhere near as competitive. He 2-0'd stats. In WTL in week 1, he was able to take down stats 2-0. Just a crazy way to start the season and to kick things off. So I want to believe that in a PvP, Goblin can pose a threat to Gerald. For now, we do see Goblin opening up with a gate expand. Gerald opens up 2 gates. Interesting. So Gerald he's breaking the mold. We spoke about this earlier in Hero versus Firefly, but here on Amphion, because it's a ramp leading into the natural, it is considered safe and considered meta to open up gate expand. It is very common to open up gate expand here, which is what Goblin is going for, but Gerald refuses. He opens up 2 gate instead. Now what this means is that Gerald has the option to go for 1 base all-in. Gerald, he has the option to go for 1 base all-in to try to punish Goblin and try to break him and try to punish his economy. We'll see if he commits. Meanwhile, Goblin going for a Stargate follow-up. Again, this is the same opener that we saw from both Firefly and Hero on this map. It's going to be a Stargate followed by the Nexus. Gerald being as annoying as possible with that pylon. will delay the expansion and dips back in with the probe. Again, delaying the Nexus for as long as he can. Now, we can see that Gerald has not moved out with another probe. So there is... I mean, not really moving out with another probe. So it looks like Gerald is not going for the all-in. Or he's not proxying at least. And it looks like he should be setting up back at home instead. Building up his Stalker army. And because Gerald opened up 2 gateways with double gates, it means that Gerald just has a Stalker lead. He's ahead in Stalkers, and he can flex that. So he's moving out with his Stalker army. Goblin's Adept does avoid the Stalkers. Heading across the map, Geralt is going to be expanding. There's our Nexus. Faster than that of Goblin. And you can see Goblin securing himself with the shield battery. Again, he's a little bit paranoid of an all-in. I don't blame him. So Goblin is paranoid. And his Nexus is going to be a little bit later as a result. Stalkers, they just avoid the army. They get 2 probes already. Can we get a third? 3 probes go down for the cost of a Stalker. Wasn't for free. Stalker was shaved off, and now we're settling into our PvP. And Geralt with the slightly faster or slightly better economy. Goblin with some more tech with the Oracle. Even though Goblin is down in workers, with the help of this Oracle, we can make up for that. As it's not just one, we have a second Oracle on the way, and 2 Oracles one-shot probes. So even with the shield battery, 2 Oracles, they can ignore it. They can ignore the shield battery, they can DPS through it. They can get damage done. So Goblin needs a 2-0. I mean, kind of. I mean, if you have no faith in... what do you mean? If you have no faith in Nicoract, I guess. Aye. But here we go. We do get 2 probe kills. Oracles, they dip into the main. And we spoke about one-shotting. 8 probes go down. And the Oracle will escape. Very nicely done here by Goblin. What was that worker lead that you were talking about? No, Bobby. 8 probe kills. Goblin takes a lead. Here we go. Probes can use shield battery? No. 2 Oracles ignore the shield battery. The shield battery cannot keep up with the DPS of the Oracle, as we did point out. With 2. As you did see. And with that, we do see Goblin chilling back at home, working towards his own Blink. Gateway Explosion on the way. Both players working towards Blink Stalkers. And now Goblin is the one with that worker lead, with the better economy. And he's looking to maintain that. Going for a faster third. Ooh, as the Oracles that come back in, they get 2 more probes. We weren't content with our worker lead. We wanted to extend it. 2 more probes go down. Geralt's now up against the wall. Ooh, bleeding out a Stalker. Stalker does go down. But Geralt just working towards his third. Settling in. Now, because of these slight leads from Goblin, it does lead into what should be better production and better upgrades. The Forge is on the way for +1, so we can't afford it. Robo's in production, that should be for Prism, potentially even Immortals. Charge should be on the horizon as well. And speaking of, there it is, there's +1 in charge for Goblin, so he's just 1 step ahead here of Geralt. Now we can bounce back. In PvP, you can harass with Blink Stalkers, Adepts. We could go into DTs. But Goblin is moving out with his main army. Catching out Geralt. Trying to shut down that third. Does get the pylon. The pylon followed by the shield battery. That's a kill, not a cancel. And Geralt, he just can't engage. But he does harass across the map. The Adepts, they do get in. Probes are going down. But he cannot save the base. The Nexus under fire. And the base is going to be going down. Yeah, there's no saving this. The Nexus will fall. 1 more volley. And Geralt, he's just contained to 2 bases. Does punish this a little bit. Does shave off some of these Stalkers. But Goblin, he can just race back home, get into his immortals, reinforce, warp in. We have stasis traps as well. And Gerald doesn't go for the all-in. Instead of doubling down on 2 bases, went behind Dark Shrine. Dark Shrine is on the way, 3rd base, being rebuilt. Gerald's going to try to macro out of this. But it's quite a mountain to climb. So in chat, whatever happened to Blinkstalker Disruptor meta? I mean, it's still there, but that's once we establish ourselves, like on a 3 or 4 base economy. We're not there yet. You have to earn the Blinkstalker Disruptor. It's not easy to get there. As we do see Gerald's rotating into the main base, he does slip in. Uh-oh. And these pylons are going to be going down. The Artosis pylons even. We do depower +2. We depower the Robo. Stalkers slipping into the main. And we're going to bleed out a couple of Stalkers, but we did at least drag Goblin back in. And there we go. Glaives are on the way. Gerald, he has to be committed here. Glaive Adepts, they do a great job at diving onto armies and buffering for your immortals. Likewise, if they shade past the army, they can get a lot of economic damage done. So we're going to have DTs and Glaive Adepts here from Gerald. We'll see if he can make some magic happen here. As Goblin moves out. He's got his Warp Prism. He can reinforce. Gerald does have 2, soon to be 3 shield batteries. Sorry, 2 shield batteries and a cannon at the 3rd. We are pushing in. The Immortal looking a bit exposed. The Immortal goes down. A good engage there from Gerald. But the reinforcers, they come in from behind. We get a full surround. And Gerald, he bleeds out far too much. Stalkers falling. We have the overcharge. Goblin respects it. He's going to wait out the overcharge. We'll wait it out. Glaive still on the way. And Goblin, he's got, what, a 20 supply lead. Going for the Robo, will snipe it. The Robo goes down. We bust into the natural base as well. We're trying to set up our own surround here, but again, numbers are just in favor of Goblin. And with that Warp Prism, we can just reinforce. Voids are being pulled. This will force Goblin out of the natural. Does force him back. But at the cost of 11 probes. Goblin actually expanding back at home, getting a 4th. Building up his production. He doesn't go for a warp in, so really patient play here out of Goblin. He doesn't try to force the issue, he just backs up. He's working on +3, extending his lead. Working on our own Dark Shrine. Let's go. And you may be wondering, what happened to the Dark Shrine of Gerald? Well, it finished. We just haven't really made use of it yet. We do have our first DT morphing in, and you can see it on the minimap there. The DT is walking through the center of the map. Do we have detection? We do. Oh god. That's unfortunate. The Dark Templar goes down, runs into the main army. Another DT on the right-hand side. We do catch the Prism. Okay, Gerald, I see you. Warp Prism does fall. You see Goblin pushing in towards the 3rd base. Shield batteries will help. So Gerald holds on. They help with the shield batteries with the overcharge, which we have yet to use. But if Goblin gets eyes on the would-be 4th, that's all we need to do. Just deny the 4th. Over and over again, just deny the 4th base. Max out. Earlier someone mentioned disruptors, and there it is. We have the Bay on the way. That is going to be for disruptor production. That's another way to come back in this game. As 1 or 2 good Novas can win you a fight. But we'll see if we can get there. Gerald will lose his 4th. And his supply blocked as well. Oof. It's been a rocky road here in the mid-game for Gerald. I mean, ever since the Oracle harass, really, Goblin has been in the driver's seat. And hasn't really sustained much damage himself. We have detection back at home. The DT doesn't deal any damage. Oh my god, and I assumed it was going to be Disruptor, but no, that is Colossus. Skillus, is that you? Colossus on the way. That is interesting. I remember Skillus used to be quite fond of this, going Colossus in PvP. And we have seen this, I think there was a Korean that did this recently as well. It wasn't Nightmare. Was it Classic? Maybe. But the way this works is that Colossus, they're kind of like a backbone to your army, and they're like an alternate Archon, where they can do splash damage, they can help deal with Zealots. That is true. It's a very unique tech choice here from Gerald. They can help support the army against a gateway composition. They do struggle if Goblin went Disruptor, right? If we had Disruptors versus Colossus, the Colossus, they just melt. They don't do too well there. Colossus is revealed. And we're doubling down. We have 2 more on the way. But Goblin has maxed out. Gerald attempting to stabilize. Getting his 4th. This is where I have to be a little bit concerned. Tech-wise, Goblin has been sticking with Pure Blink Stalker. He hasn't tried to go into Sky Toss or Disruptors. We've been committing here, and we have +3. True. There we go. Now we have 2 Robos on the way. Now Goblin is transitioning. 2 Robos and the Bay. This is a late tech choice from Goblin, but at least it's on the horizon. At the same time we dive in, we have the overcharge. Gerald should hold. And Goblin should be working towards Disruptors. And to be fair, so is Gerald. Both are doing the same. We have our initial Colossus. Soon going to be about the Disruptors. Could be blinking on forward. We dive on the Colossus. Ambitious dive here from Goblin. And he's going to get 1, but that does cost him quite a lot. Oh, yeah, that was a brutal dive there from Goblin. Especially pushing into all that static defense. Is making 3 Disruptors at a time. Gerald's making 1. I believe Gerald did rebuild his Robo, and there we go. Okay, he's actually making both. Colossus and Disruptor. And again, against a pure Gateway army, Colossus, they can do well for themselves. They have their place, but they're still like a very niche unit here, and they will be outscaled. Disruptors are amassing for Goblin. Both players are maxing out. Gerald did at least hold on to his 4th. Goblin is on 6 bases. So he could afford some of those losses. Let's get the Observer. Breaking in. And it goes off. See the Disruptors now joining the fray for both players. Disruptors have arrived. Goblin making 5 Disruptors. Oh, wait, no, sorry. That's the unit tab. I was like, is he making 5 at a time? He's crazy. Let's go 5. There's 3 Robos. Pick us off. We do dodge it. Do avoid. Oh, Blink was on cooldown. Raising the army. And Goblin's still keeping those Disruptors in the back line, trying to bait the army out. But Gerald doesn't take the bait. Doesn't overextend. Meanwhile, in the main base, Goblin going for a massive DT warp in. Forcing a recall. Disruptors moving forward. Oh no! Oh my god. That was so close. As we connect, we take down Gerald's Disruptor, and we connect with the Colossus. Massive connection! The Colossus, they take so much damage, they're exposed as well. And we go for the dive. We can go for the blinks. We get 1, we get the Immortal, we get the second Colossus, and now we're down to 1. The Bay has fallen. And Goblin, with his better economy, he can take some of these losses. Can remax. Gerald's less so. As we deny the 5th. Gerald's stuck on 2 Colossus. Remember, his Bay was sniped, so he has to rebuild. Does have to rebuild it. DT run by being set up on the left-hand side. That's a lot of Dark Templar. There's a lot of DTs. We don't have an Observer, but we do have Revelations. Nova's going to be going off, zoning away the army. Are we paying attention? No! We're not looking! Massive connections. Goblin losing almost every single disruptor. One final Nova goes off. We trade disruptors for disruptors. That was a big connection for Gerald. And have we clawed our way back into this? Goblin still has a massive bank, but it's a mineral bank, not a gas bank. It's got 4,000 minerals. Barely any gas. Oh, it looks like Gerald just realized that he lost the Bay earlier, so he's rebuilding the Robo Bay now. That's quite a late tech. As Zealot warping into the main. Gerald, it has to respond. He does have to respond. He has to pull back. Does have to pull back. Will defend. Forces out the drop. Army pushing in. Nova goes off. Forward connect. Now, at least Goblin has recovered. He's been able to rebuild those disruptors. Has been able to remax. That was a brutal moment. As Goblin going to be trading in. Poking into that army, not committing. Don't want to commit yet, not into that. We have a wall of cannons. This DT run by shouldn't get much done. Goblin will defend. As it's going for a big counterattack. Going for the 5th base. Making sure that it does not get up and running. They can always recall. Yeah, the Nexus is going to fall. And he can just blink on back. Disruptor coming in to flank the army. Oh! Ooh, nice connection. This Goblin wasn't quite ready for it. We still have our back and forth. Goblin still with a massive Disruptor lead. He can flex that. Just zoning Geralt away. GTs, yeah, they run into the wall of cannons. That's a lot of stack defense. And the Goblin going for his own Dark Templar counterattack as well. I believe he has Blink. I believe he has Shadow Stride. Ooh, as the army's caught out of position. Yeah, Goblin going for the center base, going for the 4th. And Geralt cannot push up this ramp. You cannot push into those disruptors. He's going for a counterattack. Chaos does ensue. Geralt trying to go for a backstab as well. Disruptors in position. Novas go off. Decent connections. Ooh. One Colossus does go down. But Geralt can still... well, no! Can still make this. A massive Nova does connect. And we have the overcharge. Geralt, does he have enough? With these reinforcing disruptors, it looks like we do. We break through the main army. Getting into the mineral line. But as all this was happening, 27 pros went down. I believe that was from the DT harass. Ay, ay, ay. Geralt's economy in shambles. I mean, the DT harass and also the workers at the 4th. But he can keep pushing. And he has to. We cannot just back off. The DTs are coming back in. The base on the left-hand side was denied. Waiting for their moment. And even though that wasn't a bad fight for Geralt, like, again, he has no economy, he cannot sustain himself. Goblin is already remaxing. He's got minerals and gas to work with. And here come the DTs. The Invisible Man is here. Looks like we saw a good connection, but yeah, the DTs, they bust into the natural. They go for the kill on the Nexus. And we can break into the main. And Gerald, he just cannot keep up with this. You can see him shaking his head on cams. Disruptors are going down. Clutch blink. And I mean, it's impressive that Gerald was able to fight back the way that he did, despite being behind for almost the entire game. Like, this was a really rough game for Gerald, where he was just down to the economy and he was just struggling to expand, take a third base, take a fourth base. Gerald has been on the back foot. And he did eventually max out, but it's still too much to overcome. We focus on the disruptors. We have 1 left. We have 0 left. And Goblin, it looks like he's finally done it. The final army of Gerald. It's barely standing. Nova takes down the final Colossus. And at this point, even without the disruptors, even with purely a gateway army, Goblin can close this out. He goes for the 5th. And GG gets called. Gerald has nothing left. He has a handful of Stalkers, and Goblin takes game number 1. Oh my god. GG. GG, well played again. Just a solid early game out. Diving into game number 2 and spawning in the bottom right hand corner of GoldenEye, we have Goblin for Platinum R8. And in the top left, we have a Psystorm Na'Vi, Gerald. Now, regardless if this is a 1-1 or 2-0, the series will continue. We do still have Nicoract versus MaxPax on the horizon right after this. But as you can imagine, you want to give your team the best chance possible, especially with MaxPax coming up next, as he's the best Protoss in all of Europe. And Nicoract is going to have to be on his A game to take it to MaxPax. He's going to have to be on point. So again, Goblin, he wants to give his team the best chance possible to take said series. Meanwhile, Geralt, likewise, wants to put in the work as well. It's a best of 2. I'm sure Geralt's coming in with a plan here in that second game. But now, 2-gate opener. It's going to be a 2-gate opener from Goblin, 2-gate opener from Geralt. Getting into our standard openers and getting into our units of choice. Stalker Sentry has been the standard. You could try to go double Adept to be a little bit more aggressive. You could go double Stalker to be more assertive. Or even be greedy and go double Sentry. What are we going for? Here we go. As for now, we do see Geralt just getting an eye on things, getting a read on the pylon positioning, making sure that there is no proxy. Likewise, Goblin does the same, so there is no hidden pylon on the map. There is no proxy. There is no all-in. Not yet. So both players looking quite safe. And we should be looking to expand. It is going to be Stalker Sentry from both players. We do have our Stalker Sentry openers, very standard. With our sentries, we can of course scatter across the map with hallucinations. And with our Stalker, we can be safe against earlier aggression. We do see Geralt skipping his second wave of units, and Goblin isn't. So with this, Geralt should have the faster expansion. Especially with this pylon block. Do we have the Cybercore? Up! We do! Cybercore is thrown down. Big delay here on the expansion of Goblin. And Geralt can take a faster Nexus. See, Goblin forced to make an extra wave of units. Extra Stalker, extra Sentry. Cybercore should be cancelled, and it is. But the Nexus timing is actually quite similar to each other. It is slightly faster for Geralt, but not by too much. Meanwhile, we do see Geralt going for the Twilight Council in the main, working towards Blink. Meanwhile, Goblin not going for a Blink, going for a Robo instead. followed by Twilight Council shortly after. Okay. So Blink should be on the way. With this faster robo, we're going to be a little bit safer. We have access to earlier Immortals. We have access to earlier Observers. In case it were to be a Dark Shrine, we're good. We're going to be okay. So we're settling into our game. We're calming things down here. And just like the previous game, it took a while for things to really pop off and for our players to be really aggressive. Goblin is not going for a blink, by the way. Oh my god, I spoke about how, he's got a faster robo, so he's safe against DTs. It's for the prism because we are going for a Dark Shrine. Goblin going for the Invisible Man. Meanwhile, Gerald back at home does have a robo on the way, thankfully. So Gerald has access to detection. There are PvPs where a Dark Templar shows up and the game just ends. The game just straight up ends then and there. We've seen this time and time again. That should not happen here. Now, what's important, even though Geralt has access to an Observer, DTs can still get damage done. Observers are slow. Observers are slow. They can be recalled. We have seen this before. We recall the Observer back home to defend. But even with that, probes can go down. Hallucination comes in. We confirm the Dark Shrine. Geralt sees all. He knows all. They should be preparing back at home. Meanwhile, Goblin does not cancel. Again, there's no reason to. Even if you get scouted, you can still get damage done. Your opponent is going to be on notice. As Geralt is taking a third. And Goblin has to rely on Immortals. Now, because Goblin skipped Blink, that's what we have to focus on. Just mass Immortal to make up for our less mobile army and a smaller Stalker count. So Goblin is going to be the defender. I say that he is actually moving out, denying the scouts. Bold move here by Goblin. And we're actually morphing in Archons. Okay. Archons and Immortals are reinforcing. And we're moving out across the map. Can we deny the third? It's going to be difficult. The ramp is quite narrow and Geralt has his own sentries. He can force field the ramp. But he's moving over towards the right-hand side. Okay, we have to be careful. Goblin moving in. The armies just spot each other. Decent force fields. We do blink away. Blink is on cooldown. We have a shield battery at the natural. Immortals pushing in. We can juggle our units with that War Prism. Forcing back the army. Overcharge has yet to be used. We dive on top of the Prism. Prism is going to go down, and Goblin, he's stuck here, he's trapped. Immortal coming in from behind, and Geralt, he should be able to clean this up. I say that, he's forced back once again. But he will hold. Will be able to hold on. Did pop the overcharge. Ooh, some rough control out of Geralt. Trying to chase down that Stalker. Regardless, Geralt does make a stand, does force back the army. Will hold on. Oh, not without bleeding out another Stalker. Meanwhile, Goblin working on his own blink, trying to catch up. +1 is almost halfway down for Geralt. That is going to be a big advantage for the red Protoss player. Is +1 and +2 thereafter. So Geralt has the upgrade lead. Meanwhile, Goblin pulling back, catching up with his own. He's going to be catching up with his own upgrades. At least he keeps an Immortal alive, but same can be said for Geralt. Immortals are kept alive. You see Geralt doubling down and going for 6 more gateways and charge. I believe that's going to be 8 gates in total. From the side of Geralt, going for a 4th base. Temple Archives is going to be for Archon production. So Geralt, he's just taking up into a more gateway-heavy composition with Immortals and Archons. Goblin 1 step behind. Starting up +1, starting up with charge. 4th base is on the way. Looks like it won't be cancelled. Goblin setting up a surround. It does force a recall. You catch 1 Stalker. Very nice movement here from Goblin. So he does move out with the rest of his forces. Gerald getting ready at his own fourth. There is no shield battery. No side defense yet. But the army's in position. Goblin forced to go back. We're going for the immortals. But we do save them. Good juggling here from Goblin. Does keep them alive. Does keep them safe. Gerald's having a hard time engaging. A lot of his immortals they actually weren't able to fight. But with the help of these charge lots, we force back the Stalker army. They don't catch the immortals, but the army is forced back nonetheless. And Gerald does hold. And he does outtrade his opponent, bleeding out mainly zealots for stalkers. Gerald maintains his base. At least the immortals are kept alive. They're going for a drop into the main. Risky move here by Goblin. Oh, meanwhile, Gerald, after winning that fight, he has momentum on his side. Up in workers, up in economy. Archons are on the way. And Goblin doesn't have those immortals to defend. Doesn't have them back at home. And Goblin is vulnerable. Oh, the prism goes down. Goblin with the movement. Catches the war prism. No more reinforcements. Gerald will claim the base. Nexus will fall. Gerald bleeding out 8 probes back at home. And pushing into an overcharge. It's not going to be easy. We dive on the Stalkers. Do blink forward. But it's not going to be enough. At the same time, DT's harassing across the map. We spoke about it before. The DT's finally coming in. Goblin catches out all the immortals. He catches the Archons as well. A very nice fight here from Goblin. Getting 10 probes across the map with his DTs. And sniping all those high-tech units. The Archons, the immortals. He saves his own. Has to be careful to overextend. Has to respect the army. Oh, as we're bleeding out Stalkers for Zealots again. Less than ideal. Goblin pulling back. Another DT arrives in the natural. Probes are going down. Ooh, was that the prism? It was. The prism was sniped. Yeah, they're putting it out here. The War Prism and the Immortals. So Goblin has to rebuild. Working towards a bay. That should be for Disruptor production. Bay is on the way for both players. So both players are building up towards Blinkstalker Disruptor. I mean, I'm assuming it's going to be Disruptor from Gerald, but he did show us he was a bit of a Colossus enjoyer in the last game. I mean, again, it has its place in PvP. It's just not amazing. Gerald getting into a second robo. Dark Shrine is on the way as well. I'm sure now aware that DTs can be so annoying to deal with in a later game. This Goblin is going to be forcing Gerald back. There we go. Disruptor production has commenced for Goblin. I'm still tentative to say that about Gerald. Do we go for the Colossus again? It is! Oh my god. We have Extendum Lances on the way. Colossus production will be commencing for Gerald. If Goblin wasn't already going for Disruptors, then I wouldn't mind this. But I am concerned. For Gerald. He's going for both. Going for a mix of the two. As both players back off, we're getting into our 5-base setup. Sorry, into our 4-base setup. Gerald's getting a 5th. Disruptor is on the way, and a lot of this is going to come down to the control. Whether it's a blink control, disruptor control, purification novas. Both armies are still quite comparable to each other. I mean, Gerald does have the better economy, true. He's up a base. Goblin does need to work on that. Does need to make sure he doesn't fall too far behind, as there we go, now working in his own 5th. Expanding towards Gerald. That does make it easier to defend if you're being the aggressor. If you're in the face of your opponent. Disruptors are revealed. See Gerald now committing to mass disruptor production. DTs are morphing in. We have a handful of Dark Temple on the left-hand side for Goblin, but Gerald also has DTs on the way. Cannons are ready for this. The cannons, they will defend. We get a disruptor. We get one. We get the immortal as well. Good pickups. And Gerald, he was a little bit distracted, was paying attention elsewhere. So push in from behind. Again, where are the disruptors? They're not ready yet. Not from Gerald. But he will snipe them. Gets one, gets two. Almost a third. But you can see the mass around Gerald. This is not the fight to take. He's caught out in the open. And Goblin will swallow him up. Goblin maintains the immortal lead. Maintains the disruptor lead as well. Gerald lost so much there. And we can keep pushing. Can and we will. DTs from behind. Is there detection? Uh-oh. Where's the observer? We snipe in. We get surrounded. Yeah, first Geralt and now Goblin. We have our encounter DTs coming in. That is an observer for Geralt. And Goblin plummets in that supply. Oh, that was a brutal fight. The pendulum swings from one player quickly to the other. Things are looking good for Goblin. Now looking better for Geralt. As Goblin, he has to back off. He has to leak his wounds. Does still have a lot of disruptors. There is potential here with Goblin's army. Does have potential. But his 5th was denied. Top right-hand base was shut down by the DTs. Speaking of, they're pushing towards the south. We have detection. Yeah, this time Goblin will shut this down. We'll defend. As we see Goblin flanking, the army Novas go up. We are paying attention. Oh, the flanking Novas! Oh, disruptor on disruptor. Goblin does catch 3. He's down to 3. Yeah, and they're on cooldown. We go for the dive. Goblin need a little bit more time. And it's going to bleed out every disruptor. We're down to 1. Does come off cooldown. Doesn't connect. At the same time, Goblin going for his own DT counterattack will deny the Nexus. But Geralt, he's focusing on his main push. He doesn't care. Not anymore. And he can commit. We can keep going. Gonna rotate around, playing it safe, waiting out the overcharge. Catching some zealots. But pushing up a ramp into disruptors, it's not going to be easy here. We're back up to 3. Never goes off. Oh, we're not quite looking. Gerald does take a Nova to the face. He's rotating around. Goblin keeping up. More disruptors on the way. Up! Facing the army. Catching some stalkers. Gerald's still maxed. You can see he rotated to deny, or as he bleeds out the disruptor. He rotated to deny the 5th, but there is none. Is no base. Oof. As instead we go for some DT harass, and there is an observer on the way. So Goblin will defend. Despite that, 5 probes go down. And the DTs get the hell out of here. And armies do clash. And Goblin is remaxing. You know, despite the lead that Gerald had, he wasn't able to do much with it. I was a little bit torn about Gerald pulling away from the 4th. I feel like, sorry, the 5th. Could have kept pushing. The northern base, I mean. But he pulled back to rotate. Didn't find anything. Gerald does have a larger bank, but wasn't able to do anything with this army. And now Goblin has recovered his disruptor count. He's built back up. Oh, but Goblin out of position. We're going for the Nexus. Novas are going to be zoning away the army. The Disruptor is coming in from behind. We're not pushing in. Not anymore. Yeah, an awkward engagement there for Goblin. We'll snipe some of the Disruptors. Gets 2, gets 3. Uh-oh. 3 Disruptors go down. We get a 4th as well. We completely reset the Disruptor count. Gerald. He's the one getting caught out instead. And the base survives. The Nexus does live. Does stand strong. So rough misstep there from Gerald. He is, of course, rebuilding, but even taking one of Goblin's bases. Takes top right. Is double expanding. Gerald on 7 bases against the 5 of Goblin. Server goes down. Then we're going up. Oh! Gets 1. And Gerald forced a recall. Gets caught out for a moment. Will defend. Does hold on to his base. Goblin, once again, coming across just a small pocket of Stalkers. Again, still a really tense game here. I have to give the edge to Geralt, but I mean, we've seen as of late, Goblin has been out trading him. He's been making up for his lower economy. Has been holding his own. Like this, catching another Disruptor. And not being punished. Now, no one has gone for a Skytoss transition yet. I have to levy this a little bit on Geralt. Like, because of his economy, Geralt, he does have enough to throw down a Fleet Beacon and some Stargates and potentially work towards Carrier or Tempest. That is available for Geralt, not so much for Goblin, because Goblin doesn't have a bank. But that is an option if we wanted to go for it. For, like, the ultra late game PvP. Goblin rotates in, pulls away. Never's going to be going up. It's all about the Stalker Disruptor. So I'm confused about the lack of Zealots. Zealots don't trade efficiently. Stalkers have a little micro potential with Blink. Disruptors have a little micro potential with their Novas. It's kind of like the mid-game army that you want in PvP. Like, Zealots, they crumble before these Disruptors just because they can't really avoid those shots. They just die. They just get picked apart by these Purification Novas, typically. Speaking of, gonna be forced back. We do see Gerald trying to collapse on this army from multiple angles. Instead, he gets caught out. Disruptor goes down. Nova's going up. Good split there by Goblin. Feels like we've been on a knife's edge for a while here, and he's not looking. No! Not quite looking. Massive Novas connects. Gerald plummeting in supply. Does plummet in that supply. And Goblin, now we gotta go. Send it, Pappy. Break top right. You can see Gerald, he warps in towards the bottom left, so he does reinforce. But these northern bases are exposed. It does rebuild. I'm just gonna be pushing in. Disruptors a bit exposed. Do catch 2 of them. Oof. And as we did drag Geralt out of position, DTs, they run into a wall of cannons. And never mind. You have a wall of cannons and shield batteries. We're good. Now, what's important here is that because Goblin has been out trading Gerald's, that bank is actually evening up. Like, Gerald is finally actually accruing a bank. I mean, it helps that he has expanded towards the south, so he has a fresh mining base. But he's starting to build up. And now it looks like we're going for a bit of a base trade here. Gerald going for the southern nexus, at the same time Goblin going for the north. We force a recall. Disruptors are here. And who shoots first? Oof. Massive connections. Yeah, Gerald's getting forced back, but he does depower those cannons. Meanwhile, top right is going to be going down. And Gerald, he is not getting this nexus. DTs, they blink in, and they focus on the disruptors. Every disruptor falls. Like Goblin, he holds onto his base, and he kills Gerald. And he's not stopping. Now, Goblin did just recall, so he cannot recall back home. He's going for another nexus. He's going for another base. Cannons are going down. Even if Gerald takes down this nexus, like it's okay for Goblin to trade like this, as he's getting 2. Base is under fire. Disruptors coming in. Nexus will fall. And the Goblin does bleed out a nexus, but it's a 2-for-1 trade. He even gets 20 probes. Nexus will fall. Now, Gerald is taking the gold. That will help him recover if he can get it up and running. If he can get it up. Goblin still not turning back around, committing. There's not much to threaten here at the 3rd. I guess this was the 4th. Is fully mined out. And Goblin backs off. Or he just has to get back home. Or surround the army. You can see Gerald is going to get 360 surrounded. Nova's going to be going off. And the disruptors are left alone. Pick off every disruptor. Gerald, he escapes with his stalkers, but not much else. Gerald has been burning through his bank. Is still going for the gold. The potential of that gold base is keeping him in this. Definitely. He's getting up and running. Goblin with the Zonaga, he is aware. He has spotted it. Oh, and he has to be careful not to be cornered. Meanwhile, top right is saved. Just barely. We dive on the disruptors. Gerald a little bit distracted. He gets caught out of position. Disruptors, they go down once again. I kind of want to see a kill count here of how many disruptors have fallen for both players. Oh, as Novas go off. Gerald, he dove on the army. He pays for it, and every stalker is going to be going down. It looks like Goblin has finally done it. I say that we do focus out more of these disruptors, but the stalker count in favor of Goblin, he's overwhelming. Yeah, he overwhelms the army of Gerald. It's just becoming too much. Oh, I spoke too soon. We take it over to the face. Gerald holding on. Holding, man. And hey, he holds on to the gold. Next is on the top right, still not up and running. Still not fully operational. Gerald's back up to 4 disruptors. He's down in supply, but he can still take a fight. Threatens the nexus. Goblin trying to come in for the surround. He's got disruptors from one end, he's got stalkers from the other. Forces out a blink. Let's force out that blink. Go rotating back around. I can't quite push in, not against all these disruptors. And Goblin, we're going for a base. We're going to catch some reinforcements, but yeah, this is where the wall is set up of cannons and shield batteries. We catch out Goblin. Couple stalkers go down. Jesus, last second splits there from Goblin. Oh, but that splits, papi. Let's go. Avoid the shots. We finally get top right up and running. The Nexus does live. We do saturate. Again, this is still so close. At this point, no one is taking up. No, we're long past that. There's never going to be these guys. I'll see the disruptors! Oh my god. Bit of miscontrol out of Goblin. He flies too close to the sun. He gets burned. Takes it over to the face. This is dangerous. Down to 2. Goblin has to be very careful here. If he takes more Novas like that, he will lose the base. Potentially the army. Gerald sneaking in. Takes down another disruptor. We're down to 1. Yeah, and Goblin is zoned away. The Nexus will fall. Gerald making some moves happen here. It's been a while. Yeah, we blink on 40. Focus down 1. We barely don't get the other. The Nexus falls, and from here, Gerald can either keep pushing or rotate around and threaten the northern base. It's going off once again. The gold is actually running out. We have to be careful. Gerald needs to maintain himself. Still hasn't retaken top left. Or center. Top base. Yeah, you know what I mean. That base. Yeah, that one. Goblin coming in from behind. Does get a couple of disruptions, but ooh, he eats some to the face as well. The Novas go off. Gerald with a dodge. But he bleeds out every disruptor. Archon's coming in to help buffer. I believe those were DTs. I mean, they're helping. Reset the disruptor count. Goblin taking a good trade. Forcing back the army, but that's a lot of Blink Stalkers. Yeah, the concave is brutal. We cannot push up this ramp. It's not going to happen. Keen eyes out of Gerald. He spots the DTs. Does shut them down. But at least after that fight, Gerald, he's deterred from going to the top right base. Like, he's forced back. So Goblin still has it up and running. Still mining. Hasn't taken the gases, which is concerning, but oh, we just dive on the army. 1 Nova connects, but only 1. And Gerald just trying to brute force his way through. Just catching an Archon. Gerald taking Goblin's base here. Will take his Nexus. Again, at least Goblin has that northern. It's keeping him in this. Oh, but here come the DTs. The Dark Templar are on the way. You can see the kill count on the left-hand side. Probes are going down. Oof. Goblin doesn't really have much of an economy. Bleeding out 9 workers. We have detection. DTs are caught out as well. Nova's going off. We catch the Stalkers, and Gerald, it looks like he has broken through. Dark Templar go down. No more disruptors for Goblin. Here we go for the aggressive blink. GG gets called, and Gerald fights back. Oh my god. GG. The stamina, Papi. That was such a long game. It was just such a tense game as well. Our next matchup for our PvT between Nicoract and MaxPax. Oh my god. We are getting ready, and oh, we're just diving right on in. And spawning in the bottom right hand corner, we have Nicoract for Platinum R8. And in the top left, we have MaxPax for Psystorm Na'vi. Oh my god, I still need to breathe after what just happened. Like, it was such a tense game. Geez, I mean, again, there were moments for both players. There were moments for Gerald, moments for Nicoract. Oh, sorry, not Nicoract, for Goblin. Gerald had the better economy for a long time and was just being out-traded. We saw time and time again some massive Novas going off, some beautiful engagements out of Goblin. But towards the end there, Gerald was able to get a handle on things, was able to catch out Goblin. There was that big moment where he caught, what was that, like 5 or 6 disruptors, as Goblin was looking elsewhere, and GG. GG, well played. Now the pressure is on Nicoract, more than anything. Technically, the pressure is on both players, but MaxPax is the best Protoss in Europe. He's coming in as the heavy favorite. Can Nicoract take a game? That's all he needs. Can he take one game to force the ace match? I mean, a 2-0 would be ideal for either player, but Nicoract is the underdog coming into this, and one game would be all he needs to give his team an even greater chance, or another chance. Here we go. We're settling in, Bobby. It's going to be a Rax Expand from Nicoract. Economic Opener from our Terran player. We have seen Nicoract embrace 3cc 3 racks quite often on site Delta, so my eyes are definitely on Nicoract when it comes to the timing of his third command center. Again, 3cc has been very trendy. No bet, only StarCraft. Let's go. Was that a 32-minute game? I missed it. I wanted to see how long that game lasted. 32 minutes. Crazy. Ay, ay, ay. Safety bunkers being thrown down. And meanwhile, MaxPax getting into his own opener, going for the gate expand into Cybercore. Nicoract building up resources. It looks like we are going for the... Are we going for the third CC? As we have avoided any kind of factory. It's going to be a Twilight Council opener here out of MaxPax. And show us the third CC! Nicoract, where is it? Up! There it is. There it is, baby. 3cc, 3 racks out of Nicoract. He's been very fond of this build. If you've been watching Nicoract recently, if you've been watching StarCraft recently, we've seen Clem do this, we've seen Bjorn, Maru, all the Terrans out there have been embracing this build in some way or another, incorporating it into a series. So we do have that third CC on the way, and this is going to be followed by a 3-rack setup. There's a second rack, so we should be seeing a third one. So this can hit a very strong stim timing. Can hit a very strong stim timing here from the side of Terran. I'm curious how aggressive MaxPax is going to be. MaxPax opened up Blink, but how many gateways? For now, 2. We have a 2-gate setup from MaxPax, so 2-gate Blink into a third. If MaxPax commits into 4-gate Blink, he can punish this. 4-gate Blink can punish this, and there's a third gateway on the way, so for now, 3-gate Blink out of MaxPax. Adepts trading against some Marines. Nice control out of MaxPax. Does pull back. Oh my god, shaving off a lot of these Marines. But will be shut down. Will be forced out. At least Nicoract maintains his economy. So it looks like MaxPax is playing safe. She's just going 3 gates Blink into a third. You'll see MaxPax getting ready for that third base at the linear location. So we have that prism on the way. We do have the money for it. Okay, MaxPax is going to be warping in first before the Nexus. Does open an extra round of Stalkers. This will give MaxPax map control, so he's moving out with his army. There's the third base. But remember, this third was a little bit delayed because MaxPax did warp in some extra Stalkers. It's going to be in the face of Nicoract. Now, Nicoract behind this, Stim is still starting, so we can't move out yet. As a reminder, Nicoract is going to be the defender, at least until Stim does finish. Red in the shade. Bleeding out a lot of Marines. Oh, Nicoract overextending. Yeah, massive catch. Marines go down. We're going up for the bunker. Boys are being pulled. Clutch repair. We do hold on. Nicoract will hold. Second bunker's on the way. Because of the build of Nicoract, there's no tanks. For those that are curious, there's no tanks whatsoever because of the 3 racks. It has to be a bio defense. And without Sim, it's not easy. Oh, the first bunker goes down. Repairs it too late. The bunker falls. And we needed that, at least that second bunker up and running as well. MaxPax is just getting so much done with this. Sim is done in 10 seconds. But how much do we lose before that does kick in? 8 SCVs. 8 SCVs go down. MaxPax splitting up his units. Getting a 9th worker. Stim is revealed. Stim is spent at the natural. Do you have a second bunker in the main? MaxPax does slip in. Oh, getting 11, 12, 13 SCVs. Oh, this is becoming too much. And MaxPax, he has been able to punish this. Just pulling Nicoract apart. And that stim timing that we spoke about, it's come and gone at this point. Meanwhile, MaxPax, he's saturating his 3rd, building up his gateway count, getting up to 5. That's 8 gates. 8 gates plus 1 in charge, all in the way. And now all MaxPax has to do is contain. Just has to contain his opponent and delay the 3rd. Already done more than enough economic damage. From here, Nicoract, I mean, he's got a 3rd CC, so it's going to be tough to try to expand. He will, though. Eventually, I'm sure. Pull these Marauders. Just salvage the bunker. Nicoract will break out. Factory is done. We have medevacs on the way. Once we get our medevacs, now we can stim a little bit more freely. But MaxPax, he's just not calming down. Slips in from behind, gets some more SCVs. 2, 3 SCVs go down. I'm afraid to check. Has MaxPax lost many Stalkers? I hope we don't check. Regardless, it's just been really efficient. Very efficient trades here from MaxPax. Finally, a Stalker goes down. Yeah, with Stim, with Concussive Shell, we can catch a couple of these units. Nicoract, he breaks free. And this move out needs to get damage done. There we go. 2 Stalkers. Fun fact, those 2 Stalkers literally just went down. They just died. So up until this point, we didn't lose anything. That is crazy. That is wild. I'm glad that the WTL Observer was also thinking of the same thing. We're like, hold up, I don't think I've seen a Stalker die. And here we go, the charge ults, they have arrived. There's no Widow Mines, there's no tanks. We're going to surround here on the Marauders, on the Marines. And we clean this up. GG gets called. MaxPax takes game number 1. Ooh. GG. Oh, MaxPax looking so happy on camps. He's so happy. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have MaxPax for Psystorm Na'vi. And in the top right for Platinum R8, we have it, Nicoract. Four gate equals 3 gate if you're MaxPax. True. Again, it was only 3 gate blink into a 3rd, but MaxPax, he achieved so much with it, a surprising amount with it. Typically, 3 gate blink just gives you map control and it allows you to apply some pressure, but it shouldn't allow you to do as much as MaxPax did. Like, it's very impressive what he was able to accomplish with those 3 gates. Very impressive stuff. As Nicoract is going for a proxy. Oh, sorry. Did I say proxy? This should be an eBay block, right? No, never mind. I just realized we're loading into post-youth. I'm like, he's gonna block the natural. No, there's no natural there. Show us the racks. And there it is. The racks right into the 3rd base location of MaxPax. Okay. We'll see how this all does come together. Again, MaxPax looking quite secure in his 2 base setup because we're on post-youth. Your natural is a hybrid base. You can secure that ramp. Oh, it's gonna be a 3 racks. Oh, wait, no, 2 racks. Okay. For some reason, I thought the first one was done. I was my mind was in the middle of being blown. I was like, 3 racks? Let's go. No, just 2. We have our initial Marine on the way. Max is getting set up. Nicoract gonna be expanding here in his main. At least faking out the expansion. Forcing back the probe. Tech Lab is on the way, and Proxy Marauder is going to be our answer here for Nicoract. Oh boy. So Proxy Marauder on the horizon. Now, I'm still torn about doing this on post-youth. The big reason why I'm torn is just because of how defendable you are on your 2-base setup. You're not exposing yourself by expanding on the low ground. So I'm curious how the execution goes here for Nicoract. And so far, he sold the story. Remember, he did fake out taking an expansion. You know, he made things look normal as he's committing. I have seen players pull the boys with this, so I'm curious if Nicoract is going to be pulling SCVs as well. As I imagine we would, because it's just a straight up 1-base all in. We're building up Marines, Marauders. Because Shell almost done. Yeah, we pull the boys! Let's go! The boys have been pulled. It's all or nothing here. You can see he's keeping them hidden from the Adept, and the Adept will not scout. But this delays the all in. Is this worth it? I'm not so sure. I mean, they're still coming. The boys are still being pulled, but they're going to get here a little bit late. Oh boy. And the Adepts, they do not get a read on this, but the Marauders have been scouted. Boys are being pulled, Adepts from behind. Can we focus on the Marauders? We do get one low. The SCVs are being left idle. Nick, we gotta go. Happy. Time is of the essence. Shield batteries are on the way. First Adept is being targeted. Does somehow survive. The boys are here. Shield battery will finish. We will have an overcharge. We have 2 pylons to keep everything powered. Warp gate is finishing. We have 1 Stalker and 1 Adept. Probes are being pulled. The Adept goes down. And can we get on top of that Stalker? It's so close. That overcharge is helping. Probes are falling. And again, that Marauder count is still terrifying here. We warp in an extra wave of Stalkers. And we're forcing this back. We have killed 19 probes, but MaxPax still has the worker lead. We're up to 4 Marauders, though. We are up to this 4 Marauders, and we do focus on another Stalker. We're down to 2. 2 Stalkers left. 2 Stalkers remaining, and it looks like, have we done it? Have we barely broken through? 27 probes go down. Even if this gets cleaned up, there's nothing left. We're down to 6. We're down to 6 probes, down to 3 workers, and Nicoract, has he done it? He has. 1 Stalker left. GG gets called, and Nicoract, he takes down MaxPax, barely cleans up all the Stalkers, and we're going to the ace match. Whew. GG. I was so concerned that delaying the worker pool there would work against Nicoract, that it would just take too long. But I mean, at the end of the day, MaxPax, he wasn't able to confirm, wasn't able to scout. And in the end, he was broken. GG. We're going all the way to Game 7. Let's go. Did anyone predict 1-1? did anyone believe? Let's go, Nicoract. Disproving all those unbelievers. And it comes down to this. It comes down to the ace match. It's going to be on side Delta. Who comes out as the ace player? Who is available for Platinum R8? I mean, Goblin has been looking good. Goblin has been popping off. Do I believe in the Goblin? In the Goblin even? In a PvP? Maybe. Oh wait, what? And here we go, we're diving in. MaxPax isn't available. Yeah, true. I was about to get into that, as we do have Nicoract for Platinum R8 and Spirit in the top right for Psystorm Na'Vi. Whew. Okay. The game was probably from replay? Yes. So, I don't know if you noticed something. This is a bit of a peek behind the scenes. Nicoract has a cam. Nicoract has a cam because he's playing this live. If you noticed in the last game, well, I mean, I don't know if you noticed, but MaxPax also wasn't using a cam in the last game, but neither was Nicoract. And that usually means if you ever see a game in WTL where neither player is using cams, then it means it's usually done via replay. It means that maybe a player wasn't available, so they played ahead of time. If that's the case, then that would make sense that maybe MaxPax, that's Copium, that's why he didn't play with his cam, obviously. But it looks like maybe he wasn't available. You know, it looks like that series, that best of 2 was played via also was streamed via replays, was played ahead of time. MaxPax not available here, and I believe Platinum R8 knew that, and Nicoract I think I would stand by saying that his best matchup is TBT. So is he sniping Spirit here? Can we pull this off? Let's go. I want to believe. I do want to believe. MaxPax never has a cam, so his games are never live. True. Even though his opponents are playing live. Incredible. Oh my god. Confirmed. But that's why Nicoract didn't have his cam on in the last series. Typically, that's usually the case. Just as a heads up, so even if you're watching like on another stream, and if you see that kind of dynamic, then you have a better idea of what's going on. For now, though, we're settling into our game. We do see an economic build here by Spirit going for a Rax Expand. Meanwhile, back at home, Nicoract going for a double gas opener. Bit of a safer build here from Nicoract. Oh boy. Also, my apologies. There were a bunch of alerts that were happening earlier during the PvP, and I missed it. I was so focused. A big shout out to iScar in the chat. Thank you so much. Resubscribing for 26 months. Papi. Fala galera. Fala galera. Thank you so much, iScar. I apologize for putting you out earlier. Likewise, a shout out to Dave Testa for resubscribing for 16 months. Oh my god, over 2 years. Sorry, over a year. Look, it's getting late. Over a year of support, Papi. Thank you so much, Dave. Gracias, Papi. Gracias. Thank you so much for resubscribing. Again, these happened during the PvP, and that was during the Wilds game that we had on Goldenora. So I wasn't quite able to give too much attention. So I do apologize, but thank you so much for resubscribing. For now, Nicoract, he gets across the map. Going to be dancing with the army. Ooh, with his initial Reapers. Doesn't get too much done. Clean control at a Spirit. Does pull away. Following this up with a 1-1-1. As a reminder, Nicoract did open up with a faster factory, which is why he's in his face. And doesn't quite commit. Cheeky moves out of Nicoract, gets a Hellion shot off, takes down the Marines. Uh-oh. We cleared out every single Marine, but the Cyclone comes out just in time. Spirit will hold. Spirit will hold on. Whew, just barely. With that Cyclone. Nicoract backs off, getting into our economy. Spirit does have the slightly economic lead, or the slightly better economy. Nicoract still morphing in his orbital. Again, because that faster CC, Spirit is going to have a bit of an easier time coming into the mid-game. Interesting, as Nicoract is going to earlier tanks. Cyclone into tank from Nicoract. Spirit did open up double Cyclone. Bit of a safer opener from Spirit. Yeah, he has those two Cyclones ready. And should be able to keep up with everything that Nicoract has to throw at him. Should. Drop is slipping in. Going for some economic damage. Oh, the Cyclones are out of position. Uh-oh. A good setup here by Nicoract. He drags away those Cyclones. Drops into the natural. Gets 3 SCVs, and we'll get the hell out of here. Very nicely done. Especially considering that Spirit did have the worker advantage. We did need to make some magic happen there. Nicoract moving out. Third CC's on the way. Nicoract does confirm. Important scout for Nicoract. Does confirm the third base. Pulling back. Getting into his own Ravens, his own tanks. Not committing yet, but we should soon be pushing. Spirit just now getting into his own tank production. Getting in position. Caster was also a replay. That's why he missed the alert. True! Not wrong. Not wrong, Papi. Confirmed. We can see that Nicoract is not setting up for a 2-base all-in. We do have a third on the way, but it is going to be a delayed third. Nicoract needs to be active to delay the third base of his opponent. We'll see if he can be. But now we're settling in. Here we go. So just catching up with the chat. Here we go. We are pushing in. The goal of this move up for Nicoract is to deny this third. Does have the Ravens. So does Spirit. Sable's going to be going up. We disable both of the tanks, but likewise, Nicoract leading out his tanks as well. Boys are being pulled, and Nicoract, he collapses on top of the tanks. Both of them are going to be going down. The Auto Shot's putting in a lot of work. And Nicoract, he has control of the third. Spirit being forced back. And Nicoract is going to be able to take a lead here. He maintains all of his tanks. Maintains his lead. Forces back the army and will contain Spirit to 2 bases for as long as he can. Oh my god, that is a wild drop. That medevac barely alive. It's barely standing. We're getting in. Send it, papi. Yeah, Nicoract, he drops into the main base. SCVs are under fire. Medevac goes down. It was a one-way trip. We catch a Raven. And Spirit will be able to reestablish his third. He's expanding here on the left-hand side. So I think we heard a Viking die. Yeah, we heard a Viking go down. Now again, Nicoract, I believe he has double the tank count of Spirit. We've got a lot of tanks. We have been able to maintain them. No more Ravens for our Red Terran. And Nicoract does have eyes on the new third. He's going to rotate around. Once again, the goal, the win condition for Nicoract, deny the third base as often as we can. We're going to be late to siege, though. Do get one disabled. Liberator does arrive. Oh, and Nicoract, have we overextended? It looks like we have. We bleed out every single tank. Ay, ay, ay. This was not it. That was 5 tanks going down. And suddenly, Spirit's back in this. It's like... That was an amazing fight. Spirit, he maintains control of his third base. Still down in workers, but now suddenly Spirit has the tank lead. So far, it's been very back and forth. As you can imagine, TVT, very positional base. Liberator comes in from behind, hits the natural. CVs are going down. Spirit, he wants to break that gold. Tank volley goes off, Vikings land, yeah, the tank goes down. And Spirit is going to keep pushing. He will deny the gold. At the same time, Nicoract going for a double drop. Risky move. Oh, boys are being pulled and the drop is denied. Are we going to kill? 4 medevac goes down. Ay, ay, ay. And now Spirit has momentum on his side. Still has the tank lead, shuts down the drop, defends back at home. And now threatens the third. This tank is going to be falling as well. We were already down on tanks. Liberator still denying mining in the main. Ay, ay, ay. And Nicoract, he will eventually break out of this. Where are the Marines, by the way? Not enough. Not enough Marines. Nicoract will clean this up. We'll shut this down. But it costs him 16 SCVs. And 2 medevacs. And a couple of tanks. As the dust settles, Nicoract's still up on workers. It goes to show how far ahead he was to be able to lose 16 workers and still be slightly ahead. But the army is what I'm concerned about. The army in favor of Spirit is now moving out. Spirit has gained map control. Nicoract now the defender. Catches a medevac. Spirit rotating around. Oh, let's rotate around. We're going for the Dune drop into the main. Oh, and there's no sensor tower. There's no tower. There's nothing to scout. The turret does help, but the tanks will siege. Boys are being pulled. Good target firing out of Spirit. He does focus down the tank, but he will be cleaned up. Nicoract holds. Nicoract, he does hold on. This cost him 6 more workers. No longer has the worker lead. Nicoract shutting down the Vikings. We can see Spirit going for a double drop towards that third. Will get a tank. Just barely. But it cost him a tank as well. Spirit being a little bit careless here. He's thrown away a lot of drops. Honestly, looking a little bit overconfident. And Nicoract coming in from behind will clean this up. The pendulum swings from one player to the other. We get a full surround. The tanks go down. The Medivacs as well. And now it's going to be Nicoract's turn to push. we're just taking turns at this point. But back at home, we have a planetary on the way. Tanks are amassing. Spirit going for another double drop. Nicoract likewise going for a split push as well. Planetary will finish up in a couple of seconds, but a couple of seconds too late. Get into the mineral line. 8 SCVs go down. Bearing in mind that Spirit, that is his 4th. Nicoract still on 3. Still in a 3-way setup. Spirit stepping into the main. Nicoract does actually get on top of the 3rd, though. Deny mining. The orbital will survive. Oh, that double drop into the main base, though, gets quite a lot of damage. 6 SCVs, and we get the base! No shot! The orbital goes down. We were talking about how Nicoract was stuck on 3 bases. Now he's stuck on 2. Stuck on a 2-base economy. The longer this goes on, the better it is for Spirit. Drop is denied. Again, right now there's a lot of pressure on Nicoract. The problem is one of these bases is a planetary. Nicoract can't punish that. The Liberator does arrive, forcing back the Terran, our blue Terran. Tank goes down. Nicoract, he knows he needs to threaten this base in some way. The tank will help. Tank does siege. Looks like Nicoract setting up for a drop towards the main of Spirit. And he commits. Oh, show us the main. Does commit in the turrets and not done in time. Nicoract making some moves happen here. Shuts down the depots, but it is going to be cleaned up. There's just an overwhelming sea of Terran. Yeah, the Mass Marine will shut him down. At the same time, Nicoract going for the 3rd. Going for the mineral line. We're going to get some SCVs. Can we get the base? Can we get the orbital? We have the repairs. The base will live. Spirit bleeding out 17 SCVs, but with 4 CC, he can replace it. Can replace these workers. Nicoract pulling back, lifting up his main, taking it as the gold. A bit of a desperation move, but we need to make something happen here. The gold base is going to be an orbital, not a planetary. Tank going to be sieging up. Another tank going to be exposed towards the left-hand side. Not a bad fight for Nicoract. Did have that Marine lead. Not a bad fight whatsoever. Oh, but we don't have much at home to defend. Oh, the tank's stuck? Oh, they're stuck! No, that's me let out. Drop comes in, takes down some of these depots. But Nicoract will deflect this. Will defend. +3 attack on the way for Spirit. Tanks once again building up. I still have to give the edge to Spirit because of his tank count, but there's always a world where he can get caught on siege. Always. As Nicoract rotating around. Just barely out of range of that sensor tower. Scans the army. Likewise, Spirit scans Nicoract. Nicoract trying to push right through the center. And I believe there are no tanks in position. And what can we get done? we stim on in. We threaten the factory. We can threaten these SCVs. Can we have to stay out of range of the planetary? Not bad. Not a bad start for Nicoract. Again, still a very tense game. This drop in the main, getting a bit done. It does overwhelm. The Spirit looks like he wants to push in. He goes to the unsiege. Can Nicoract respond in time? cannot. Yeah, Spirit, he has control of the ramp. He pushes towards the goal base. The goal is going to go down. Nicoract caught out of position. The goal does fall. Nicoract still on now a 2-ace economy. Barely mining. He will defend the ramp. He will defend his third. We barely have any minerals to work with. You can see there, I mean, the main was the gold, so that went down. And yeah, Nicoract being picked apart here. I mean, this was a wild game, very back and forth, quite even actually between both Spirit and Nicoract. We're collapsing in, but the tanks are sieged. The Marine's in position, and Spirit, he will take this fight. GG gets called. As we had nothing left behind this, and Spirit will take the game and win it all for ShaDoWn Na'Vi. GG. Whew, GG, well played. ShaDoWn Na'Vi will come out as our victors here tonight, but a shout out to Nicoract because that was a wild back and forth. Like, as an ace match, I'm sure everyone was expecting MaxPax. Then we found out that MaxPax was not available. He was not here today. Without MaxPax, Spirit was next up, and Nicoract, his best matchup was TVT for a very long time, and we saw here why. Like, he had a wild approach here to Spirit, and it was very chaotic, very back and forth. Both players would be losing a lot of drops, a lot of tanks as well. It was very close. In the end, Spirit is our champion. ShaDoWn Na'Vi are our victors. But a shout out to Platinum R8. Again, they held their own even without Kelazur. Remember, Kelazur wasn't here tonight. I imagine maybe traveling for DreamHack Dallas or just unavailable. And they did make a series out of it. GG, well played. With that, that wraps up our weekend of StarCraft. Oh my god, there was so much casting this weekend. We had Master Sworn Open, we had Sparkling Tuna Cup, we had the Logic Games, WTL, Day 2, Day 3, KSL, which we didn't cast, to be fair, we didn't cast KSL. Gonna be doing a replay cast instead. But there was a lot of StarCraft. There was a lot of StarCraft, Bappy. And with that, we have our standings. Oh, let's zoom in. Let's zoom into the standings. Bam! We have Team Vitality in first place, followed by DKZ, Team Liquid, Shopify Rebellion, and Mystery Gaming, and Basilisk. There is the 6th spot. That's kind of the biggest surprise here. I say biggest surprise. One of the big results coming into our new season, into our new year, followed by ShaDoWn Na'Vi, Berserker, Platinum R8, Twisted Fairy, Offside Esports, and Starlight Twinkle at the bottom of the bracket. But again, because Cyril has not been able to compete, because Cyril has been busy with the military service, Showtime has stepped in instead for Basilisk Big, and with that, we're done. We're gonna be done here for the night. Thank God. If you're curious, our next broadcast is gonna be tomorrow in less than 24 hours. We're gonna be casting ESL Open Cup Asia. ESL Open Cup Asia is gonna be in. Let me just double check. ESL Open Cup Asia is going to be in 16 hours. In 16 hours time, we have you covered with some Korean on Korean action with your weekly dose of Korean StarCraft. So we got you covered there. Otherwise, the day after that is going to be ESL Open Cup Americas, and we will be going over the KSL replays on Wednesday. Again, shout out to Dave Tessa, of course. He did, of course, organize and host and cast KSL on Saturday, but we were unfortunately unavailable because we've been doing all these other casts, and we had to sleep at some point. We did have to sleep, so we're going to be catching up on KSL on Wednesday. Meanwhile, in less than a week, DreamHack Dallas. DreamHack Dallas is upon us. EPT Spring is right around the corner, so if you happen to be native to the land of the Americas, if you happen to be local to Texas, or even in a neighboring state, consider traveling. Consider traveling over to DreamHack Dallas. It's going to be an amazing time. It's going to be an amazing event, an amazing celebration of StarCraft. So do consider checking that out. We will also be a part of that broadcast. We are going to be covering the knockout bracket and the open brackets, the open stage. So the earlier rounds, basically, I think we're only going to be casting day 1. I think day 1 of DreamHack Dallas, we're going to be casting here on the CranKy Ducklings. We're going to be a side stream. We're going to be like a B or C stream essentially, and I think there are going to be some other. There's going to be some other coverage as well. I think Steadfast might be casting and maybe winter as well. Depends on their schedule. We also have the option to co-stream. We'll see. I would like to sleep and just watch, but co-streaming is always a lot of fun. It depends though on the CranKy Ducklings. I kind of like the idea of having like a viewing party for the co-stream and like maybe bringing some people on. But at the same time, a lot of the people here at the CranKy Ducklings are oceanic based. They're based in like Southeast Asia and Oceania, and DreamHack Dallas is at an awful time. It's not good. So it's hard to get people on. So we'll see. We have permission. We might co-stream. We might not. We'll see. Regardless, thank you so much for watching, everyone. Thanks so much for the support. We'll see you guys tomorrow for ESL Asia. And yeah, stick around. I'm going to be giving another StarCraft streamer a raid. Not sure who. We'll find someone to raid. ShaDoWn raided us yesterday. ShaDoWn did raid us yesterday, so we might reciprocate that. We'll see. Otherwise, thank you for watching. Thank you for the support. You can follow us on all the social medias. !socials in the chat. If you guys want to join us and follow us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and Discord. You can also check us out on Patreon, !Patreon if you wish. You can support us there to help us fund our tournaments. So Patreon is a place to do that. Or, of course, you can subscribe as well. We do cast here on a daily basis. And like today, multiple times a day. As we just wrapped up with Sparkling Tuna Cup earlier. And, of course, now WTL. So plenty of content, plenty of casting, plenty of StarCraft on the CranKy Ducklings. Plenty of StarCraft. We'll see you tomorrow. Until then, hasta luego. Ciao, papi, ciao. Hasta luego.